So the Asgard Divide event is live. It has launched and is in-game currently. The new event dungeon is live and available. 3 of the 4 Asgardian champions are currently in the game. We've got a ton of news articles. We've got information coming in from all sorts of other sources. So in today's video, I'm going to cover everything that we know so far. But I want to say right here at the top of the video, especially to you free-to-play players and low spenders, be careful with your resources. I hope you've been saving. I know there's a lot of enticements to use up your shards and all sorts of other things for other reasons. But if you are interested in trying to collect all 4 of these Asgardian champions during this event, you're going to need to spend your resources wisely. So hopefully in today's video, we can also kind of create a plan for when and where we will spend our resources based on which champions we want to prioritize. I am Colred. This is Colred Plays. Let's get started. Okay, there's an absolute ton of information to cover, so I'm going to move kind of quickly. Don't hesitate to pause, rewind, and rewatch, but let's get started. So right here in the news tab, there is the main announcement for the new event, the Asgard Divide. This gives us some new information and also confirms some things we suspected. First of all, we have the Loki Chase loyalty program. We'll talk about more of that in game, but everybody's going to have a chance to get Loki for free and get up to a 5-star soul. The thing that we just got confirmed is that Thor will be the upcoming Fusion event champion. Now, we typically get a warm-up Fusion event, right? Those typically pop like 72 hours before an actual Fusion event. That hasn't happened yet, so I don't expect the Fusion to happen this week. It's likely to launch next Thursday. So that means we'll probably get the warm-up event on like Tuesday, and then the event will launch on Thursday. That's what I'm suspecting now. Now, Thor is not currently in the game. The other 3 champions are in the game, so you can go into the index and take a look at them. And you can also pull them from shards right now. I wouldn't pull any shards right now, but if you pull the shard, you could actually get one of these champions. But you can't get Thor yet because he won't be available until the Fusion event launches. Now, we do have an opportunity to get Freya for free. There's a Deck of Fate event that's coming up. Based on what we've seen in the past, this will probably take somewhere between 15 and 20 Sacred Shards worth of points to get this free Freya. So this is one of the reasons why I said to you free-to-play and low spenders, save your resources. Because not only are you going to need to pull shards for the Fusion event, but you're going to need to pull shards potentially for this Deck of Fate event. Now, both Freya and Odin Feyfather will be available also through summon pool events, summon boosts, and there's a progressive chance event for Freya. It looks like I wouldn't really rely on these unless you're at least a moderate spender. It feels like the better way to get the champion, at least Freya, is through the Deck of Fate. At least it's guaranteed then, you know, now you're not just hoping that RNG works in your favor. As far as Odin is concerned, remember that all of these champions will be added to the regular pool of champions after this event ends, which means you'll always be able to pull them from shards. So it may just be better to save your void shards for 2 times events, maybe with a ×10 summon boost, and hope for that combination and pull your void shards then and a chance to get Odin. But it doesn't look like we're going to have any way to get Odin guaranteed. Now, in addition, we know that we have the new dungeon in the game. It is already there. We'll take a quick look at that. But what we've got here is something that I suspected. We're going to have a dedicated tournament. So in addition to having those regular dungeon tournaments, spider tournaments, dragon tournaments, we're going to have an event dungeon tournament. We have yet to figure out if that is going to be part of the Fusion event or if it's going to go along with like a Dungeon Divers event or anything like that. But there will be at least one dedicated tournament, and that's a good thing, I think. Okay, coming back to the news tab, you can go ahead and look at the Loki the Deceiver spotlight video. There is also an additional Asgard Divide video that launched yesterday, which gives you a little bit more lore. The event dungeon and pinpoint gear set is here. You can also see there's more information on the Loki Chase. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Loki Chase right now. Okay, so here's the Loki Chase, and you can see it follows the format that we saw in the Adolin Chase. There are 2 phases. Phase 1 is 14 days. That's going to allow you to get the champion on day 7 and the 2-star perfect soul on day 14. All you have to do is log in. You can't speed this up. You just have to wait your 14 days. You can see day 1 has already gone. You also get some nice additional rewards. You know, you get some perception gear. You get a little bit of silver. You get a a key, a 3-day XP. So some decent rewards here. Now, when you switch into phase 2, you also have some rewards here, including up to a 5-star soul for Loki. All you have to do here is do the events that you normally do playing the game. So you can see the flags up here. These are the points that you get for doing these various activities. So every dungeon run that you take, regardless of what stage you do, you could do stage 1 or stage 10 of hard mode, you're going to get 1 flag point, and this is going to go towards the 1,050 that you need in order to get that 5-star soul. I don't remember exactly how long it took during the Adeline chase, but it wasn't hard. It was pretty easy to get this 5-star soul, so it should be relatively easy to do so here as well. Now, if we jump over to the events icon, we'll see that in the events page, we now have this Asgard Divide thing up here. I would actually read the lore. I read the lore. It's kind of fun. All of the champions have lore. You should go ahead and get into it. Just adds a little bit of spice to the event, I think, to read the background, understand where these champions are coming from, their relationship, and why this Asgard Divide event is happening. But if you also click on this view here, you can see, well, first of all, you can see there's an Asgardian path coming in 10.5 hours. So there are going to be some rewards there. We'll talk more about that in just a second. But if you click on view, you get brought to the Asgard Divide page, and you can see all of the events and tournaments listed. So we have the extra legendary event that is currently going on, the summon pool event that's going on. There's an Asgardian pack if you're a spender. We've got the Loki chase for 14 days, the Asgardian path that we know is launching. And we also have free gear removal starting tomorrow, which is awesome. We always love free gear removal. So that's going to give us an opportunity to re-gear for places like Centranos or Doom Tower, or just rebuild some champions. Now, this event ends in 2 weeks and 11 hours. So we know that the Asgard Divide is a 3-month event, but this portion of it is only 2 weeks and 11 hours. I don't know why. I don't know what that means. But there's a timer on it. So just wanted to share that with you. Now, if we come back here, again, there is an Asgardian path. There's a little bit more information in the Plarium Play event calendar. So let's go look at that. Okay, so if you take a look at the Plarium Play calendar, it has filled in for the rest of the week. You can see we have the events that are going on. And again, these are going on for a very long time. So the Loki chase and the Asgard Divide and all of that, the event dungeon, those are happening for 3 months. Now, right now, what we do have is this Asgardian path information. So if you come here, you can read this. There's a little bit more information here. So you can earn 6-star legendary artifacts and accessories, along with other valuable rewards, summon souls, get champions, collect artifacts and accessories to earn runic points. So this path event is going to be offering, it looks like, gear and books. So no champions, no souls, but it will require that you summon souls and champions in order to get these rewards. So again, this is another opportunity to pull shards. You're going to have to see if it coincides with a shard pulling event that you want to get into. Remember, we have we have the Deck of Fate coming. The Deck of Fate and the Hero's Path are different things, but they're both going to require shard pulls. Plus, we have the Fusion that's going to require shard pulls. Plus, we have the progressive event for Freya that's going to require shard pulls. Plus, we have the special events for Odin that's going to require shard pulls. Plarium is looking to get some money out of this, right? So if you're a free-to-play player or a low spender, or even if you're a whale, be careful. Think about it. Plan it out. Like, prioritize what you want in-game and then spend your resources accordingly. I did forget to mention something about the event dungeon here in the news tab. We have this announcement. We also wanted to try something different with the event dungeon to keep things fresh every time it opens for business. That indicates that it may close from time to time. So maybe that 2-week thing is part of this. Maybe it'll close and then it'll open again. Rather than having one particular fixed boss, the enemies and boss you fight within this time-limited dungeon will change to match the associated event's theme. So right now the boss is Odin, but that may cycle around to Freya, Thor, and Loki over the course of this Asgard Divide event, or maybe even some other champions could be the boss. We don't know. So this is going to be interesting. That means that we're going to have to constantly adapt our teams based on the boss champion for the dungeon and also the theme of the event that goes along with it. So that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at the dungeon real quick. Okay, here it is. It's in the game. You can see it says 9 weeks and 10 hours. So who knows when the bosses will change? We don't really have information on that. It could be that 2-week timer. If we had, roughly 2 weeks times 4, that would be 8 weeks. I don't know. If you have any information about that, let me know in the comments below if I've missed something, if I missed an announcement, or maybe one of the content creators has some inside information. That would be helpful to share. But okay, so as we can see, we have Odin here. I do want to talk briefly about this. I'm not actually going to break down the dungeon yet. I'm going to do that in another video. But there were some complaints about the fact that the pinpoint gear here has been included with 5 other traditional sets, and these are not necessarily phenomenal sets, but I actually think this is reasonable. I think this is what we should have expected. Our normal dungeons, our normal gear dungeons, like Dragon's Lair, has, I believe, 9 or 10 sets. Let's see, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 sets. And so with the new event dungeon, we only have 6 sets. So your chance of landing pinpoint gear is actually going to be better than it is, to land any particular set from any of the other dungeons. In addition, I think out of these sets, the best next set is probably crit damage. That's a decent mid-game to late-game damage set. Can even be used at endgame just as kind of a filler set for damage dealers. Crit rate and accuracy are certainly early and mid-game sets that are usable. Curing and days aren't great sets, but I think we always want to have an option to sell stuff. You need silver here. Additionally, you should see that the accessories will also drop from these dungeons. Now, I assume that only pinpoint accessories will drop because there are no crit damage accessories, no accuracy accessories, right? So I don't think they're going to just drop normal accessories. I think they're only going to drop pinpoint accessories. So what that means is potentially you have a 1 in 6 chance of getting a pinpoint piece of gear. And then depending on the way that they do the distribution, some of those are going to be accessories and some of them are going to be artifacts. So that's not bad. And we have 9 weeks to farm. So I think it is a focus. We're going to have to invest some energy, but I feel like we should be able to build up a decent collection of pinpoint gear in this time. Especially, remember, they're going to do dungeon associated tournaments during the event as well. So they're going to be incentivizing us even more. And it may be that some of the rewards from those tournaments will also be pinpoint gear. So this might not be our only source of pinpoint gear during the Asgard Divide. So as I mentioned, I wanted to keep this video relatively short and concise. We're still going to be getting more information as the days unfold and we find out about Thor and all sorts of stuff. I'm going to be doing a video covering each of the champions kits to tell you which champions you may want to prioritize. I'm also going to be doing a video on this first iteration of the dungeon with Odin as the boss to see if we can kind of clear that all the way to 30 relatively easily with free-to-play team compositions. Maybe I have to use my good champions. I don't really know. We'll have to see how hard the dungeon is later today. I haven't even stepped foot in it, so I'm going to be doing that all tonight. So watch out for those videos. Again, if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, please do, because those videos will be coming very soon. Okay, that is it today. Let me know in the comments below what you're thinking about the Asgard Divide. Are you pulling during this extra legendary event? Or are you holding your ancient shards for the fusion, for the Deck of Fate? What are you doing with your resources? Or are you just kind of throwing up your hands and being like, Plarium's being Plarium? All right, that is it from me. I am Colred. Thanks so much for joining me. I will see you in another video soon.